The cold clay roof tiles slip beneath his feet. He plummets, hitting the unforgiving dirt with a heavy thud. A freezing bucket of water splashes across his face, stinging the deep smallpox scars etched into his skin. Angry shouts surround him. Wooden staves strike his back, pinning him to the ground. Jirozaemon has just caused a severe physical tragedy, an incident that will end with his own execution. But how did a simple coal merchant from the rural village of Sono end up catching a death sentence in the most exclusive district of 17th century Japan? To understand this catastrophic game over, we have to look at his starting stats and his utterly doomed quest line. He spawns into the world with a massive debuff. A childhood bout of smallpox did not just drain his health bar, it left his charisma stat at absolute 0, his face permanently disfigured. Despite this terrible RNG, he grinds. He runs a modest coal-selling business in Sono, farming basic currency day by day. But then, he makes the fatal decision to fast travel to the massive server hub of Edo. Edo is a booming metropolis, pushing a population of nearly 1 million people. And right in its center is his new obsession, the walled district of Yoshiwara. He steps into this ultimate pay-to-win entertainment zone. The Tokugawa shogunate strictly regulates this pleasure quarter, using it as an economic sinkhole to drain the wealth of the merchant class. He walks past the grand entrance gates, his eyes scanning the wooden notice boards that list the exorbitant fees. The prices are staggering, showing costs in silver monmi that equate to more than what a low-ranking government official earns in a full fiscal year. It is in this neon-lit, high-stakes arena that he spots the ultimate top-tier entity, Yatsuhashi. She is an Oiran, the highest possible rank in the Yoshiwara hierarchy, essentially the final boss of the district. Her heavily embroidered kimono alone carries a value that could buy out his entire coal operation. Most sensible players would realize they do not have the VIP pass for this zone and immediately log out. But not him. He decides to go full try-hard mode. Miraculously, Yatsuhashi accepts him as a client. This rare drop of luck, however, initiates the most expensive and self-destructive escort mission in history. He returns to his village and stares down at his business ledgers. The ink on the paper shows a stable income, but it is nowhere near enough to sustain his new high-roller lifestyle. The national economy relies on a strict class system where merchants are at the bottom, heavily taxed and restricted. He reads a recently posted shogunate edict about frugal living pinned to his workshop wall, but he completely ignores the macroeconomic warning. He liquidates everything. He watches as the deeds to his ancestral home and lands are handed over to creditors. His coal business is officially declared bankrupt. He trades his entire legacy, every single piece of copper and silver he owns, just to keep his premium subscription active. He throws all his gold at Yatsuhashi, purchasing top-tier gifts, desperately trying to max out a relationship meter that was rigged against him from the start. He is carrying the weight of a shattered economy on his back, but his mind is completely blinded by the glowing illusion of the Yoshiwara lights. He is convinced that if he just spends enough, if he just grinds hard enough to dump resources into this one specific NPC, he will unlock the ultimate ending. He fails to realize that the entire Yoshiwara system is a closed-loop economy, designed to extract wealth, not to grant happy endings. The Oiran are bound by strict contracts, essentially high-value assets managed by guildmasters, and his meager rural wealth is just a temporary spike in their massive revenue stream. He is a low-level player trying to buy out the server, and his resources are about to hit absolute 0. His inventory is officially empty. He stands on the freezing streets of Edo, the biting winter wind gnawing at his ragged clothes. The date is December 19th, 1696. He clutches a crumpled debt notice in his hand, a stark reminder that his rural lands and entire coal operation have been permanently seized. Around him, the city's economic engine roars. Wealthy merchants in silk coats pass by, loudly discussing the skyrocketing price of commodities, while his own pockets hold absolutely 0 currency. The Tokugawa shogunate had perfectly engineered these entertainment districts to act as financial sinkholes, ensuring that merchants could never accumulate enough wealth to challenge the ruling class. The Yoshiwara district is experiencing a massive economic boom, a golden age of urban culture, but he has been firmly locked out by a massive, insurmountable paywall. He spots her. A grand parade is moving down the main street, a spectacular display of wealth, fashion, and status. It is Yatsuhashi, surrounded by attendants, moving like a max-level deity through a server of commoners. He pushes through the crowd, his severely disfigured face pale with desperation. He calls out to her, trying to trigger a dialogue prompt, desperately hoping for a sliver of recognition. But she simply glides past, completely ignoring his existence. His account balance is 0. To this elite NPC, he is now entirely invisible. The rejection hits him like a massive critical damage debuff. He refuses to accept the reset. He tries again during another grand procession, shouting her name into the cold winter air. Ignored again. The systemic humiliation is absolute. The illusion shatters. He realizes he never actually leveled up his relationship. He was just feeding coins into an arcade machine, and now the final screen is flashing brightly in his face. But instead of logging off quietly, Jirozaemon decides to break the game's code. He heavily tracks her movements. He follows her entourage into a vibrant, exclusive tea house. The air is thick with the scent of expensive matcha and the murmurs of high society patrons. He equips his only remaining item, a short sword known as the Kago Suru. With a sudden, terrifying burst of speed, he charges up the wooden stairs. He draws the blade, bypassing all defenses, and delivers a catastrophic physical blow. In a devastating scene of irreversible physical tragedy, he brings a permanent end to the Oiran's journey right there on the steps. The top-tier idol of Edo is abruptly deleted from the server. Panic erupts. The Teahouse turns into a chaotic combat zone. He scrambles, desperately trying to evade the sudden aggro from the surrounding crowd, and forces his way up onto the clay-tiled roof to escape the mob. But the locals have already swarmed the area. Neighbors and guards thrust long wooden staves at him, attempting to knock him off his high ground. Then, a heavy splash of reality hits him. Someone hurls a bucket of freezing water directly at him. The water slicks the tiles beneath his feet. He loses his footing, his grip failing, and he plummets hard to the unforgiving ground below. He is instantly subdued, captured by the authorities, and handed the ultimate, inescapable server ban. A swift and permanent execution decree. Now, we pull the camera back from the blood-stained streets of the Edo period. We disconnect from this tragic avatar. The brutal playthrough of Jirozaemon is a chilling reminder of the dangers of commodified affection and rigid class structures. He believed that by grinding endlessly and throwing away his entire livelihood, he could purchase a genuine human connection in a district explicitly designed to extract wealth. He was fighting a losing battle against a macroeconomic machine that fed on the fantasies of lonely, vulnerable men. When the transactional nature of his romance was finally exposed, the cognitive dissonance broke him, turning a desperate, broken merchant into a harbinger of extreme tragedy. That is the harsh, unfiltered truth of human nature, and that is precisely the kind of unvarnished historical lesson that serious world history aims to bring you today.